Historically, India and China have had relations for more than 2000 years, but the modern relationship between the two countries began in 1950 when India was among the first countries to establish diplomatic relations with China. The recent 4-day visit of Vice President Hamid Ansari, along with a high-level delegation including Minister for Commerce Nirmala Sitharaman to China, was another step to further strengthen Indo-China relations. On the first leg of his tour, Vice President visited Xi'an. He was received at the international airport of Xi'an by Vice Governor of Shanxi Province, Ms. Wang Lijia. During his stay at Xi'an, the Vice President had a meeting with Secretary of the Shanxi Provincial Committee of the Communist Party of China, Mr. Zhao Zhengyong. Both the leaders discussed issues of mutual interest.
China has rich cultural heritage which attracts millions of tourists every year from all over the world.
Xi'an is popularly known as the cultural capital of China, and it has many historical sites like Terracotta Warriors and Horses Museum, Big Wild Goose Pagoda and the City Wall, which attract millions of tourists all over the world every year. The Great Mosque of Xi'an is another attraction. The Vice President visited this mosque and wrote in the visitor's book that this mosque had made a deep impression on him as it reflected the syncretic religious and architectural heritage of Shanxi province. He thanked Imam Muhammad Yunus for graciously taking him around. The Vice President also visited the renowned Buddhist monastery called Big Wild Goose Pagoda, which is a symbol of the old line Xi'an. It is a well-preserved ancient building and a holy place for Buddhists. The Terracotta Warriors and Horses Museum was another historical site in which Mr. Ansari showed his keen interest. The excavation at this site unfolds a strong army of 7,000 life-size pottery soldiers, horses, chariots and weapons ranged in battle formations, symbolically guarding the tomb of Emperor of Qin Shi Huang. On completion of the tour of Xi'an, Vice President proceeded for Beijing on the second leg of his tour to take part in the celebrations of the 60th anniversary of PANCHSHEEL Treaty. He was warmly received at the Beijing International Airport by China's Foreign Affairs Director General Asia, Kong Ruan-yu. Vice President also visited the Great Wall of China, one of the greatest wonders of the world. Just like a gigantic dragon, the Great Wall winds up and down across deserts, grasslands, mountains and plateaus, stretching about 6,700 kilometers from east to west of China. The Vice President also addressed the Trilateral Summit meeting to commemorate the 60th anniversary of PANCHSHEEL at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing. PANCHSHEEL, the 5 Principles of Peaceful Coexistence, was signed by India, China and Myanmar in 1954 for mutual benefit. Addressing the gathering, the Vice President said, "India, China and Myanmar are bound by age-old linkages and geography. We may be at different stages of development, but we can learn from each other's experiences. PANCHSHEEL can help us exploit this potential for cooperation and come up with fresh, innovative initiatives to improve the lives of our people."
India, China and Myanmar are bound by age-old linkages and geography. We may be at different stages of development, but we can learn from each other's national experiences. In our respective bilateral relations, our common interests far outweigh our differences. On the way forward, we have to build on our convergences and narrow down the differences. PANCHSHEEL can help us exploit this potential for cooperation and come up with fresh, innovative initiatives to improve the lives of our people. On the global level, PANCHSHEEL preserves the right of all nations to choose their own path while interacting with others on the basis of mutual respect and equality. It facilitates the expression of views of all members of the international community, particularly the developing countries, so that their concerns are highlighted and interests are protected in the international economic, social, and political order. PANCHSHEEL provides the framework within which a just and equitable global order can be achieved to the satisfaction and benefit of all.
He said, pursuit of world peace is a fundamental tenet of India's foreign policy. It draws inspiration from our ancient civilizational value of considering the world as one family. This shapes and guides our actions in international relations.
Pursuit of world peace is a fundamental tenet of India's foreign policy. It draws inspiration from our ancient civilizational value of considering the world as one family. This shapes and guides our actions in international affairs. Even before India became an independent nation, the leaders of our freedom struggle had outlined the fundamental precepts and values that embody the 5 principles of peaceful coexistence, or PANCHSHEEL. The Constitution of India enjoins the state to endeavor to promote international peace and security and to maintain just and honorable relations between nations. Speaking in our parliament, Prime Minister Nehru had referred to Lord Buddha's use of PANCHSHEEL as a moral concept and had welcomed it. In Myanmar, PANCHSHEEL has deep roots in its Buddhist traditions. In China, Confucius had emphasized harmony in the midst of differences.
He further said that India believes that globalization should transform the world into, as Mahatma Gandhi had envisaged, a federation of friendly, interdependent nations without domination or exploitation. PANCHSHEEL is the basis of such a world order.
India believes that globalization should transform the world into, as Mahatma Gandhi had envisaged, a federation of friendly, interdependent nations without domination or exploitation. PANCHSHEEL is the basis of such a world order. We need to work together to develop a framework for equitable globalization, for genuine multilateralism, and for seeking common and fair solutions for challenges that transcend national borders and threaten humanity. We need a new paradigm for global action. Our destinies are intertwined. Our quest should be for a framework in which opportunities and challenges for the betterment of our societies coexist. In this endeavor, PANCHSHEEL can act as a catalyst to help us better coordinate our efforts, enhance mutual understanding, share developmental experiences, and tackle transnational threats more effectively.
In the trilateral summit, India has reaffirmed its commitment to strengthen its relations with China on the basis of PANCHSHEEL.